Now is the acceptable time. This week, many heads pass between my fingers. Remember, you are dust. In Italy, because of the geographic situation and the nature of what had been entrusted to us, many were the souls that we had to send into the beyond. Often, as one placed the coffin in the ground, one had this mental question mark. Which way? In Italy, of course, it's far more dramatic, because people are very expansive, and there is loud wailing and even clinging to the body, the coffin, and so on. And likewise, the burial is more dramatic too. It's not clinical as in Ireland. As the coffin is being lowered down, it's done in the traditional way of bit by bit shoveling earth on it. And the words in Italian, of course, accompany it: dust unto dust, ashes unto ashes. Very, very moving. And yet one knows that one is saying goodbye, and that is the beginning of a long, long journey. In the course of the week, I came across again a sheet of paper. It was my birth certificate amongst my archives, and that was the starting point. I came across also another sheet of paper. I've got it here, actually. Can you guess what it is? What is it? Any idea? Study? Yeah. It's the last step there in Rome. Now, the point about this is this. It is only a sheet of paper, but it actually contains many hours of hard labor. Many hours in the company of, in that case, the brain being studied centuries after it had lived. But at the end, what happens? One goes into the aula, the torture chamber, where actually John Paul II was, and all who have gone to the same university were before them. It's the one place where it all happens, where you have to defend your thesis and be voted upon. You come out with basically what? A title. You go in, father, and you come out, doctor. But it hit me. When it comes to the crunch, nothing of that nature will count one iota. On the other hand, another title would count an awful lot, and I have it here. Who is this? St. Thomas. Which one? Aquinas, precisely the patron of that university, named after him, the angelic doctor, Angelicum. Now, what is the first bit of that relic? What does it say on it in Latin? What are the two letters? What is he? He's a doctor, but what do you see on the relic? Well, what is he? Good lad. Saint. Now, do you see the difference in order? A good number of years ago, when in formation in France, I was told, vous nettoyerez tous les reliquaires de la chapelle des reliques. Your work is to clean all the reliquaries. So in I went, and boy, was there a horde. You name it, he, she, or it was there. Centuries of what? Big ones, little ones, and all in between of these. Bones, teeth, hair, you name it. It was all there, and each one with the label. And it hit me as I polished these bits of glory up, how they had the same tools. Bodies, minds, and for a while they were the envelope of the soul. Now, do you see the game? They had exactly the same tools in their period of time when soul and body were intertwined. What happened in that brief period of time determined and will determine right now and forever and ever and ever the degree of either infernal damnation or blissful ecstasy until time is no more, which will never be, of course. We can never stop being. Once conceived, we are and we shall be. And suicide is the great illusion that we can stop it all. No, all we do is meet ourselves for the first time when it's too late to readjust the consequences. I spent an afternoon among the saints. They did not say a word, yet spoke to me of bygone days, of martyrs' unheard plaints, of unseen virgins' sealed virginity, and off it goes, all these bits of glory. And then, some years later, I was taken to the grave of the mother of a friend of mine who had asked me for something to put on that grave. A verse from Scripture. She was very Catholic but wanted a Scripture verse. And I said, why not put what we put on our father's, Dad's, which was not far away actually, the grave. In Welsh, it was, in your light, we see light. And so they both have the same verse, and we hope they've gone to the same light. But in this family plot, there was Uncle Murphy, and he had put something he had seen actually in Ireland, and he said, I want that on my grave when I die, and they respected it. So I copied it, and here it is. Remember, friend, as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, you will also be. So prepare yourself to follow me. That hit me also one day in Siena, when ambling through the corridors of the old hospital where St. Catherine used to watch the dying and dead. A skull looked at me, and I looked at him. He'd been looking since the last, I would say, 5 centuries or so, and the same was his message. You'll be with me one day. And it hit me. That also is looking from a whole realm that I cannot fathom. And that skull no longer has a soul attached, but was the means of obtaining right now glory or damnation, precisely with what came out between those gaping jaws. For we belch the aeons out or take bliss in with the use that we make of air. On this first Sunday of Lent, it's kind of serious stuff, my friends, because it's the time to get our act together. To sit on the globe and look on. Where am I going? If Lent is just the same as the rest of the year, we're missing the point. We're just living on the surface. We're not facing the one thing that counts. I just finish with one thing that hit me very, very powerfully this last week. Or just the end of the other week, I had to go to Drogheda to do some technical things. And just as I was coming from where I had been, I happened to catch sight of a bookshop. So I went in. Because I usually succeed in resisting most things, except one, temptation, I went into the war section. Pictures which made your hair stand on end. And one picture was this. It was, on one side, a French lady courting one of the occupying soldiers and gaining the benefits therefrom. Opposite, to make the point, was the final solution. It was one of the Germans with a gun at the head of just an ordinary soldier who was sitting on a large hole which he and his comrades had obviously just dug, looking down on the bodies of his other comrades, and with a grim look, waiting for the bullet to send him there too. And it hit me how different life is for some. How some have a great chance, can do many studies, can receive many things, and others, like beasts, go on this short journey into the beyond, but perhaps they didn't really have time to prepare. I finish, my friends. It could be tomorrow. Am I ready? And if not, why not? And if I'm not ready, what must I do today to be ready?